Let's talk about Magic.
All right.
Let's talk about a game called Magic the Gathering.
To the meat of the matter.
So I'm thinking about titling this episode as part of a series.
Okay.
Trying to stay in love with Magic.
Okay.
There are several reasons why I want to talk about the journey of trying to stay in love with Magic. It is my favorite TCG. I can say that.
Yes.
Still, it's still my favorite, even though I think there are other TCGs I think I would rather be playing right now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny how Universes Beyond has had an opposite effect on me as a seasoned Magic player.
Yeah.
Like, in the chat, I'll bring up every now and then, like, has anybody ever played Final Fantasy, like the TCG? And so this Universe Beyond set drops, and I'm like, damn, like this actually just makes me want to go play like a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
So
I've restarted playing 7 and 9.
No, I mean like the TCG.
Oh yeah, I've always looked on far at the TCG.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing a couple people play at a couple different game stores back in the day. This was a few years ago at this point. I think like my brief stay up north for a bit, I think I saw some people playing.
Yeah.
And it just it just never seemed to have that kind of pull.
Yeah.
At least artistically, I've noticed a lot of the full art, like the full art cards from the new Final Fantasy set that just look like a game screenshot.
Hang on. We're getting a little
wobble.
Here.
Yeah. Sorry. I shouldn't rest my elbows on the table. My grandmother taught me better.
Graham taught me better than that.
She did. She would take her slippers off of her foot, reach underneath the table with her toes, and pinch you with them if you put your elbows on the table. Yeah, my grandma.
Man, skills.
She'd pinch you with them.
All right, so I'm trying to stay in love with MTG because there are multiple problems, right, with the game and the industry.
Yes.
And the format. In particular, Commander.
The design of the game itself right now is contentious.
Yeah, it's kind of... The weird thing is that anytime I feel like I talk about Magic reaching some type of volta that ends up with it, like, where we try to think like, oh, okay, Magic is in its twilight years.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's this supernova or this like supermassive black hole that's about to just be a homogeneous, like null point of mechanics.
Yes.
And just infinite solved synergy.
Yes.
And like later on, I want to talk about how restrictions are the key to setting players free.
Yes.
But I want to continue loving this game, and I think I have found the way to really keep the game fresh. Yeah. But I want to hear from you. When was it that you felt like, okay, my love for this game is starting to wane?
So the way that my relationship with Magic has been off and on for so on, I've worked in game stores, of course, but I was playing a lot during specifically the Return to Ravnica thing was like my end point. That point, life had changed, had to grow up, move out, things just got to a point where I couldn't play cards.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, I remember we were actually playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Before the Eminence Commander decks came out.
Yeah.
The Eminence Commander decks came out, and the new ruling for Link monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out. And we were like, we are not about this. The Link zones are restricting what I can special summon. Like, yeah. And so we were all just like, okay, well, let's just grab these. You and I were both being like the Magic evangelists to the friend group at the time. Just like, look, guys, this game is so much better. We can get 4 people into a game with this. And at the time, like, my only experience with EDH was having a couple of jank decks that randomly were made out of piles of cards I had, like anybody else, until Wizards started actually trying to incorporate and change their design towards. And so we came right onto that point where where Wizards really started to be like, okay, we realize that this is the thing people like.
Yeah, this is more than just a niche. I guess I think the Commander Precon started in 2014, I think.
I think 2013.
2013?
2013 might have been the first one. We can fact check that at some point.
So at sometime between like a 3 or 4 year period, Wizards is like, okay, this format is cooking.
Yes.
And we need to make sure it's making us dollars, meat pies for us and the fam.
Yeah.
So
at that point, what I think when I really started to enjoy the game a lot less was when the glut of products started to flow in to a point where I couldn't keep up with it. There were too many things going on and a bunch of cards printed into like different sets, commanders. Like I remember we went big on Commander Legends. We went hard into Legends.
Oh yeah.
And just at that point, I think we were just burnt out because it's just another extremely hyped like premium set after another extremely hyped. I think we had like there was like a Modern Masters or something like that, or Modern Horizons 1 and 2, and like I can't even keep track of it all. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I could not. So at that point, I think is right around that time when we started to see the product just really ramp up, and Wizards started telling you if you do not like a product, you don't have to interact with it.
Yeah.
Which is patently untrue, especially when your main format that you play is an eternal format like Commander.
Yeah.
It's just fundamentally not true. I have to stay abreast of it. I have to pay attention. Those new cards can show up anytime. My friends don't stop buying cards.
Exactly. That is like the kind of caveat to that. It's like, okay, well, but the fact that this is a community game, a community format, you know, and a very social one,
right.
I'm going to end up, no matter how much I hate Universes Beyond, I'm going to end up sitting down at a table on Friday and somebody's going to be playing, you know, FIFA Landfall, and I'm just going to have to eat that.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to play Spider-Man, and I don't want to see Spider-Man on my table, but he's going to be there. He won't be on Arena, which is another thing I do want to bring up, because at some point I want to talk about how in my pursuit of finding love for TCGs again, I went back to the beginning, which was 60 card constructed one-on-one Magic.
Yeah.
Informed a lot from my competitive fighting game experience of 1v1 like combat.
I'm going to pause you right there because I want to get, so fighting games, inspiring, like what you, and I, just to kind of piggyback off of that, same. Magic became less fun for me. I don't know, I just feel like at the time I was kind of creatively, it sounds weird, we're talking about all this stuff they're cramming in and all these mechanics, but I kind of found myself like kind of creatively bankrupt, or either like at the point where it was like, I am sick of exhausting my mind trying to make a deck that I both love and like will love again the next time I play it. Yeah. And like, it's fresh and unique enough, right? But I would be considered like a jank player, and there just wasn't a real good, like we have a bracket system now, which kind of helps, but we don't really have something that, I don't know, it was missing something. I didn't know what that was until I went and played Flesh and Blood. And when I started playing Flesh and Blood, I was like, oh, okay. This is a card game for me, because when I play Commander, I really want to identify with my commander, right? The commander is going to be an extension of my creativity, right? And it's going to help me to win the way I want to win. But, for some odd cursed reason, all of the mechanics that I love in Magic are kind of like the least supported underdog, like janky mess ones. And it's usually always kind of tied around the lore or like just kind of the part of the story that we're in, or the set that we're in, that really gives me interest. And that was another reason. Another big reason was that I felt like we weren't spending enough time in a plane. Yeah. Right? It was
There's
like,
not enough expansion on it.
We just hit this plane, boom, it blows up, or planeswalkers escape. And I was just like, okay, because, my favorite set, Amonkhet, Plane Lord, I'm currently trying to collect 4 of every Amonkhet card in the block. Yeah. Just so that I always have the physical paper way to play a Plane Lord deck with Amonkhet. But
it's like, can I get a second call time set? No, but we will put a different version of Tyvar somewhere in every single set. Collect all the elves, guys.
Yeah, and that's the force, the lore. No, not the force, but that is just like, hey man, I'm really suggesting that you continue playing, because the stuff you like in the planes that you were enjoying them in is going to show up later.
So that kind of plays into the idea that is a part of the general Magic discourse right now, which is the Fortnite-ification in big letters of Magic. Where it comes down to the fact is that Magic's been around for, it's about as old as I am. So it's over 30 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact of the matter is that they have a ton of material they've already treaded before. They've gone over it. They've retreaded that material multiple times. We've done a return to Ravnica at this point.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that they are pumping out more and more product as it goes on. At a certain point, you have to be able to streamline and make this so that you have probably one team working on one really big set, which at this moment right now was what I would say is Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
The previous set, Aether Drift, was basically what happens when you reach those circumstances of exhausting where you've been and no longer having much else to do. It's like, all right, so we're literally going to do a Hanna-Barbera Wacky Racers set where we mash everything together, all of our planes, and then we're going to have Snidely Whiplash as a cat in like Chariot, and he's going to sacrifice your stuff, and we're going to play around maximum speed and exhaust. Those are our main mechanics. Our color slices have specific things, and that's just something that we've seen like echoed since at least like All Will Be One essentially.
I mean,
was a turning point.
It's a strategy that even transcends just TCGs. I mean, because Nintendo did the same thing. I mean, we're starting to get to a point where it's like, man, kind of creatively bankrupt here. Let's just put everything together in a Hanna-Barbera. Mario Kart. It's like
Fortnite is itself
is Magic's Mario Kart.
Fortnite is the ultimate logical endpoint of the capitalization of IP, intellectual property. It's what happens is essentially you don't have anything, but everybody has something and they want to rent that something out because they have it and they want to make money on it. And other people want to make money off of what you have too. So the crossovers and everything, like right now, like Final Fantasy is a banger set.
It is a banger.
I've played Standard right now.
I'm sorry.
The Sephiroth
Yuna enchantments.
The Sephiroth that fits right into the black-white aristocrats deck. Fantastic. You have like 3 different kinds of wizards decks. You can run it black-red. You can run it blue-red. VV is insane. You can run it Grixis. I have a Grixis shell I just run right now where I've just got literally like 1 or 2 of all of the different legendary wizards in a bunch of like cantrips and a couple of like removal, and like I'm just pinging for non-creature stuff. Like it's insane. And VV is a busted card, absolutely. But the set plays amazing.
My only problem with the set, I love that it's in Final Fantasy, but can we get cards with that level of interest and power and like compatibility in a lore-rich plane?
Yeah, I absolutely
if
agree.
they can do what they've done with card design with Final Fantasy into a plane, like I was on break from Magic when whatever the latest Jumpstart thing is, the one with the star.
Foundations. That's the set that stays in Standard for like 2 rotations, I think. Like it's in multiple years.
It was like, hey, here's all the cool things you want to do in Magic. That haven't been around for a while. And, we're just going to hit you with all of these like mainstay staples that's going to like enhance your play experience. And it's like, oh, wow. Every time I see this set come up, I look at a rare and I'm like, yo, that reminds me of when this was a cool combo back, 20 years ago.
There's a big joke right now going on how Standard essentially is just old modern now because they've put, you can play Boomer Jund again with Liliana. There's a 4-drop red card that's basically your Blood Braids elf. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, you can just play that again. Red White Burn is essentially playable now in Standard. It hasn't been playable in Modern in forever.
Jeez. But coming back from, I left, I played some Flesh and Blood. I played some Digimon.
Yep.
And there were things I liked about both of them, but ultimately it was like, enough time had passed where, I don't know, 5 or 6 sets, maybe 7, I don't know. MTG sets had come out, and it was like, all right, if I come back to Commander now, surely I'm gonna have like a fresh experience and like all of my creative woes are gonna be, gone. But I just kind of got more samey, more solved like stuff. Just kind of, I don't know, it's just,
Yes.
And I shouldn't really have a problem with that, but it encouraged me to go back to my like 2018 project with like Plane Lord, because that kind of what I really wanted was like new places to explore, right? But the combination of wanting to really get the most out of that plane and just kind of like challenging myself to win with the magic available to me.
Yes.
That's the kind of restriction I'm looking for. Because like in Flesh and Blood, I've got this character that my deck completely revolves around.
Yes.
Right? And you can make commanders that decks that completely revolve around commanders. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But it's a bad idea if you want to, play bracket 4 someday.
Yeah.
But the fact that, that had a character had a class, and then the cards that were available to me were just cards for that class.
Yeah.
And just kind of having that kind of, I don't know, synergistic restriction.
Yeah.
Just made me feel like, hey, like how do I get this, what I'm getting from here, but like in MTG?
Yeah. What you're looking for is you want to try and bump up against those restrictions on your own instead of just seeing, oh, that's where the restrictions are, because they're plainly laid out for you.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of comes back to, or down to an idea that I've had about Magic a long time, is that they're trying to crib from their design decisions from a lot of the other more popular TCGs on the market right now. The number 2 being Yu-Gi-Oh! and Pokemon. When it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh!, what I think you're really coming up against is the fact that they are working more and more towards an archetypal design, where they are trying to print both commanders and supporting cards for those specifically kind of under-supported mechanics that you have always been a fan of, and many players have been a fan of. It's why, we have had multiple commander decks around stuff like Flashback and things like that. Remember when Savine deck came out, the Jeskai Flashback deck, and how there really hadn't been much Flashback support since I want to say maybe the first Innistrad set, or maybe the last couple ones. But now we've had like just those keywords like Flashback have just been showing up in random sets now, like it's an evergreen mechanic.
And guess who bought Savine the Chronoclasm?
This guy.
Right.
That's right.
I bought it.
Not just for Teferi's protection.
Oh no.
That was in the Savine deck.
No. Savine's Reclamation.
Oh, Savine's Reclamation
there, which is an amazing card. But Teferi's Protection, for some reason, they were just like, you know what else Edgar needs?
That's right.
A Teferi card makes 0 sense.
That's right. Oh, man.
Sense. I was like, Teferi's Protection. Like, if you want it, I could understand. Look, you want to make a card where vampires are aggressive. They have a little bit of trouble getting control reestablished if somebody survives their mid game or their early game. But and of course now we have out of the walls vampire support. You can play vampires any way you want.
I think at that point was the first time Ixalan had just semi-recently come out, and vampires were finally getting into white instead of just being black and red, and they wanted to be able to unify that in their big flagship format, which was Commander.
But they didn't have to make it around Teferi.
Oh yeah,
they could have had some other thing that represented, like maybe vampires specifically, or just like something specifically phasing.
From what I understand, that card specifically was meant to actually counteract Cyclonic Rift.
Okay.
So people were always complaining about Cyclonic Rift. The point was that it was supposed to be able to outplay a Cyclonic, because people would just cast Cyclonic Rift while they're up ahead and just completely dominate from that point. And if you just phase yourself and pull you out of that stuff, they can't interact with you, your stuff's all good. But it essentially worked the same way, where oftentimes you would just play it while you're ahead. You're about to win next turn. Nobody can let you untap, but I'm going to untap because I'm not here.
It is a win more icing on the cake. So strong. In my
it's win more, but it also will just win games.
It will just win the game. Yeah. But so I kind of came back around to Plane Lord, cleaned up the rules a bit. And now I'm having fun playing the format.
Yeah.
Now I just need to convince the whole world that it's the format they need to be playing, right?
Well,
but I think that is like what all of this coming around to is that the way to stay in love with Magic is to come up with your own format. Come up with a format that that doesn't like force you to play the game that you want to play, but like inspires you to play the game that you want to play. I can't for the life of me understand, or well, I do now, but I couldn't understand who bracket 1 was really for.
Yeah.
Right, but it's for those like battle cruiser theme, like thematic jank. And I've tried. There have been other people who have tried to play like plane only Commander, right? But the fact that you only get one copy of the card, it's like what my plane wants to do, and even like the sub thing my plane wants to do. If it gets thwarted once or twice, there is no way for me to. I just have to battle cruise my way to victory.
If I'm making a Kamigawa deck, you're damn sure I'm not going to be running arcane cards for real, except for a couple that might be really pushed because it's parasitic even within its own set. Neon Dynasties does not interact with any of that stuff, but they're still in the same plane.
And I think
I'm going to make a Neon Dynasties deck.
And the fact that when we come back to planes, or when planes extend into a second or a third set, we don't see the same mechanics printed. No. They actually have something different. Even if it's in the same guild or color combination, it'll be something different. And I think that's what will keep the fact that Plane Lord is not bound by color restriction, is only pilotable by a Planeswalker, and is kind of restricted to, albeit 4 of, it's still restricted to planes that don't really, that you have to work hard to get extensions of sets and revisits to really work together, but it still creates a thematic, like lore-rich experience, right? And you get to have bragging rights as the lord of whatever plane.
Yeah, I recommend for anybody looking to just test out the format to just build a Ravnica deck. Yeah, Ravnica's so full of anything you want. It's the Shoto of planes. I have a fireball. I have a low forward. I have an invincible uppercut. I could do it all.
yeah. So, but circling back around to the restrictions making things fun, I am having a blast playing $10 budget Commander.
So am I.
That is what we have here, is some $10 budget decks. Jeskai with Saint Tract and Rim Curlus, and then Helga on Bant with
Karuga Companion, yes.
As the companion. Okay, so these decks were built by a friend of mine, and I hope we do them justice. But should we do 30 in 1v1?
For budget Commander?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to.
We'll see what happens with 30.
Okay.
So, I mean, Josh just like shows up and it's like, I got this $10 deck. It's like a pirate, like commander.
Yes.
That when creatures you control but don't own get +2/+2 and death touch and menace.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they attack. Insane. It was a blast. And I don't know, the challenge just kind of went from there.
I've noticed that one cool thing about Budget Commander is that stealing things from the poor and getting rich off of it works so good. That's why I'm personally making a Zidane Tantalus Thief deck for Boros. Just steal your stuff, sacrifice it, and make treasures.
Yeah. Okay, so we will roll. See who goes first.
I think just hit like a D20 or something.
7. 8.
All right. All right. No multiplayer, so I will not draw. Turn 1, play Selesnya Guildgate tapped and pass.
I have. I'm having a blast with Codis, the Fangkeeper, a 25 or 35 cent. 35 cent budget commander. Really hard to deal with indestructible in budget.
It is.
I will play Mountains, tap it, and get out a Blister Spit Gremlin, and say go.
Okay, I'll untap, upkeep, draw.
One thing about budget commanders, it does the same thing that I want out of Plane Lord, which is it forces me to find value in the leftover cards.
Yeah.
Right? I've got this whole, bin full of bulk, and it's like, these are great, this is great art. These are great effects under the right conditions. It can't survive in Commander because it's a continuous like power creep. In order to enjoy the game, you're forced to play with powerful cards.
This is the same problem we were running into in 2011. That's the whole point reason of playing Commander, is that I have a bunch of bulk. My first Commander deck was a red-green Ulashed the Hate Seed, like big mana, big dumb battle cruiser deck. Like, yeah, I was just like, this is cool. I want to be able to play all the big dumb Timmy cards I have.
And
that's what it was for.
In Plain Lord, it's like, I'm here, I'm unrestricted of color identity. This is my Plain Lord, and he's about to, like, they're about to show you why I am the master of mana in this plane.
What it does is it leans into your ability to personally identify with the commander as well as their plane, because you've got a planeswalker that you want to use that interacts with that plane. Yeah. But also because you're not restricted by color identity, it allows you to express yourself a lot more with that interaction.
And it's really... It really does find balance in the restriction, because it's like, look, if I really care about ramp and I really want to make sure I have the right mana and resources, like Zendikar is excellent, has fetch lands, has landfall ability, has Harrow, it has the roiling one that's like the Harrow light, the lands come in tapped.
Regrowth.
Yeah, it's strictly worse. But they were like, we want to give them another version of Harrow.
Yeah.
So, and then, if you want to make sure you have the duels, play Ravnica.
Yeah.
Right? There's tons of stuff.
Tarkir's got fetches. Tarkir just had a Dragonstorm added in, so Tarkir's looking like, and that's the cool thing too, is like, in a lot of ways, like, I will criticize Wizards for going in the direction of making archetypical designs like Yu-Gi-Oh! And like cribbing from that, but like the cool thing about Plain Lord is that like your plane is your Blue Eyes White Dragon, your plane is your Dark Magician, and when new stuff gets printed for that, oh man, I get to put all the new cards in with my Dark Magician now, and people love that stuff. But it also does it still without it being like, all right, they just printed a busted commander specifically for this mechanic and this color pie that everybody's wanted, and every time it was like, oh man, it's another Sultai good stuff commander, but it just kind of adds that restriction while freeing it up in other ways.
Right, exactly. And then like your deck all of a sudden becomes narrative, and like it can tell a story if it wants to, if you're that kind of thematic player, or change or alter things that are happening, but you're in a format where it's like, hey, it sounds kind of cringy to say, but like it's a safe space for like thematic jank. Because you're up against other thematic jank.
If somebody really wants to like arms race their way out, sure, somebody can. It's the same idea with the bracket system. If someone really wants to, they can make the most streamlined, technically bracket 1 or 2 deck they want. And I think that a lot of times, if someone says that their deck is 1 or 2, people will argue that it's probably a 3.
I mean,
as long as it's synergistic in a way and works together in any way that's not just completely, I play one land and I just play a beater, and that's it, then you're probably you're probably sitting at a 3 or something.
I was at Matt's card shop. I saw a Lord of the Rings Grixis pre-con. I was like, oh, I love Grixis. Lord of the Rings is, it seemed like a cool set. I was away from the game. When it came out, didn't know really anything about it. Really.
Same.
I was like, I'll take this home, I'll sleeve it up, I'll hop into a bracket 2 game, right? Player shows up with Feather. Rolls everybody.
2, though.
It's totally bracket 2. Who knew? 1-2 mana cantrips that you get back every turn, somehow busted.
Sick nasty.
But hey, it's bracket 2.
Hey, I have a green-black elf deck that's technically bracket 3. I do not own a single game changer in there. And there's just a couple
bracket
of...
2 then, if there's no game changer.
No game changer. I've got a few tutors.
Okay,
So, but I mean...
Tutors got a 2.
Yeah, but no game changers. But like that deck can win. I've seen it win on turn 4. I've seen it. And it's... I think it just comes down to the point where it doesn't accomplish much more than Rule 0 already did.
And with Plain Lord having multiple copies, it's like, look, if I don't get to pop off with my thing, I have multiple times where I can try. And everybody is just like, deciding what they want to enforce more, because each plane is going to be inherently better at something than another thing. Right? Better creatures here, better draw power here, better interaction here in this plane. And how you're going to make up for that, you have the freedom to splash in the color pie. to make up for weaknesses.
Yeah, in fact, we're using kind of that play between color pie and planes to actually enforce those kind of restrictions the color pie used to just have inherently.
Yeah.
Whereas now, so many things break those restrictions of the color pie.
Exactly.
To where it doesn't have those useful identifying restrictions that actually make you play a certain way. It's the same with fighting games. I don't play certain kinds of characters because I like to play the game a certain kind of way.
We now have, and I was jumping for joy, right? But it did kind of have my red light going off. It's like danger to like the gameplay here and like solving colors.
Yeah.
When in black, now we have, I believe, 2 cards that can deal with enchantments in black.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was,
and the cost really isn't that steep.
no, feed the swarm.
Yeah.
I'll eat the mana
I'll
eat the life.
Yeah,
CMC.
I think there's also a couple of cards that are just like edicts that essentially you do.
Yeah.
Your opponent sacrifices a creature or an enchantment or something like that. Like you've got multiple ways now, essentially.
Yeah, so I'm black red. Normally I would be crippled by an enchantment.
Yeah.
Because there are no black or red cards that deal with enchantments. I mean, you can do the curse one where you take 2 damage.
Right. Or I run
enchantment.
a colorless card that can like deal with it. Costs like 7 and it exiles. I think there's like
Scour from
like
Existence.
Yeah. You gotta go heavy.
2 of
into
those
it.
in the Zendikar Nisa Plainlord deck.
Yeah.
For just such an occasion.
Just such an occasion. I should probably play a second land. I'll play a forested pass. This deck can't do anything before turn 3.
I will draw. Play an island. We will go ahead and get the. I think we play. We'll convoke. Ooh, actually, no. I think we just swing in for 1.
Okay.
And then we pass the turn.
All right. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'll play an island, and I'll pay 3 for a Simic Locket, and I'll pass turn.
So I will be uploading the 2025, this is how you play Plain Lord.
Yeah, at some point, obviously, we've been talking a lot about Plain Lord, but we haven't really gone over what it is.
We haven't really talked about what it is.
It's like, oh man, it's just this new magic sensation sweeping the nation.
We get out a Jeskai banner, and then swing in for another 1.
Okay.
Pass turn.
Tap, upkeep, draw.
Plain Lord is a format where you designate a planeswalker of your choice from any set or commander set, doesn't matter where it comes from, to lord over a plane of your choice. You will be restricted to a card pool that are the sets released within the plane of your choice, and all variations of them, as long as it is, relative to, it is set within that plane. There will be some caveats, and they will be listed out as like with March of the Machines,
right,
and other things.
And a lot of that too can also come down to just like, hey, this is technically probably there's rule 0 and everything. Just talk with people when you're playing a game, just like anything else.
Yeah, but if it's Ravnica, it's any card from any Ravnica block. Kamigawa, any block. Dominaria, which boasts the largest pool, and I will have listed, for easy reference, what all sets are out or took place in Dominaria. It's a huge set. At first, I had split them into New and Old Kingdom because I didn't want, Busted Sauce combining with Busted Sauce, from the past to the future. But honestly, break the format. Show me why there should be a restricted list for Plain Lord, because we won't be banning anything. And they'll just be like, instead of 4, we will restrict the number to 1 or something like that.
Those will be our game changers, because that's essentially what a game changer is. It's just a soft restricted list.
Right. Did you just...
I played this and I passed.
I played Jeskai Banner.
Okay,
yeah, it's on you.
Play a forest, and I'll pay 4 for a solemn. Go grab a basic and pass.
Okay, on tap, draw. Oh, a plains at last. I think what we do here is pay 3 and get out Saint Traft. And we pass the turn.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no, we don't.
No?
When it becomes tapped, I create a 1/1 human creature token. If this is the first time this ability is resolved this turn. If it's the second time, create a 1/1 blue spirit creature token with flying. If it's the third time, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Okay, I see the vision.
Yes.
Yeah, we passed.
Okay. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'll play a Plains. I'll pay 5 for a Cloud Blazer. Enters the battlefield. I will draw 2 and gain 2 life. And then I will pass the turn.
Draw. Play a Terramorphic Expanse. We will pay 1, get out a Springleaf Drum. Let's see. I think we go 1, Convoke, 2, 3. 4. 5, 6. For Triplicate Spirits. I will put 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield, which will untap him. And
Okay, in response.
oh, okay.
Oh, no.
On the stack.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay. Resolves?
Yeah.
Okay. On cast, that's gonna untap him. And that's gonna give me 3 spirits. Then I will then tap 3. Okay. I'll tap to create a blue here, and then tap 2 of my, I'll tap 2 of the spirits to cast a Referee Squad, which has Convoke, so I'll untap him. When I tapped him, he created a 1/1 blue spirit. Boom. And then I still have, when it enters the battlefield.
Shouldn't you have a citizen too from when you tapped him the first time? Or a red human?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Red human. That's what I was missing. Red human. So this enters the battlefield. I tap down Cloud Blazer and put a stun counter on it.
In response,
Yeah.
I will pay 2, and I'll cast the Adventure Side of Twinning Twins, Swift Spiral, exile target non-token creature. It returns to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step.
Okay.
That's all in an adventure.
Budget interaction, love it.
Yep.
I will then tap the last spirit. 2, 3. That's going to create me a 4/4. And I'll cast a Conclave Tribunal. Feel like it's kind of a waste, but I really want that that 4/4 loose. So then I will exile. We'll exile Locket.
Okay.
Until that leaves the battlefield. That'll give me the 4/4. Angel. And that has Convoke, so I untap this. Wow. Jeez, oh Pete.
Yeah.
Enter combat.
All right.
3.
I'll block with Solemn.
Okay.
It'll die. I'll draw a card.
And I will then pass turn.
Okay. End step, Cloud Blazer will come back. I'll draw 2 cards and gain 2 life. I'll untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will pay green, white, blue for my commander Helga, Skittish Seer.
All right.
I will play a forest as my land for turn. And I will pay 4 for a clone to make a copy of Cloud Blazer. Helga will trigger, and I'll get to put a +1 on it. And draw a card and gain 1 life. That's pretty good. And then that will enter, and I'll gain 2 life as well from that and draw 2 cards, and I have to discard a bunch. Man. 3, 4, 5, 9. Discard down 2.
Mommy, Bant's bullying me with value.
Yeah, no matter how cheap it is, it's still Bant.
I will respond just with Terramorphic.
Okay. Sorry, I just gotta do cleanup. The budgets for these decks are only like $10 on TCG Player, by the way.
We use Moxfield. We set Moxfield in the prices under the account settings to TCG, and it shows us the price at the bottom, and everything must be $10 or less, Commander included. Everything's priced except basic lands.
Yeah. We don't buy from TCG Player. Most people aren't right now due to the, I think there's a
Yeah, I believe there's a union.
a boycott right now, yeah.
Boycott.
Union struggle.
Union struggle. I believe the creator of the website sold it for a large lump sum, like hundreds of millions. And it's like 300 million or something, or 3 million, something like that. Some big ass number, which is, you know, you can do that. It's your company.
Yeah.
But
Support your peoples.
I suppose the buyout is changing things for employees.
Yeah.
There must be some conflict about that, which happens.
Yep.
In buyouts. Normally, I don't buy from TCG Player just because I don't like sectioning out the orders.
No.
If I have the extra coin, I would go to like Card Kingdom. But before I go to either place as an online store, I send lists into my local game store.
That's right.
They get my money first. Okay, so we got some critters. I think I should cast Anticipate first. I'll look at the top 3 cards of my library, put one of them into my hand, and the rest on the bottom in any order. So, what? There's no way. There's no way this is budget.
There's some cards. Dude, did you know that, dude, Sun Titan's like 20 cents.
Honestly. Wow.
It's going to be in the Zidane deck so that when I use Steelskin to give somebody 9 lives and it kills them,
Yeah.
goes to my graveyard, I bring it back with Sun Titan, I give it away again.
Nice. I'm going to put 1 card in my hand and the rest on the bottom. And I'm going to have to look this up because that's not even cool. I will go Mountain.
So that's too strong.
2, honestly, play a card called Kieran Negotiations. It's an enchantment that says tap an untapped creature you control. Negotiations deals 1 damage to target player.
Dang.
That's stupid.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty stupid. We will then pass. Oh, well, creatures are kind of beefy over there now.
Got 2/2/2 flyers and a 2/4.
I will challenge your blocking power in the air
I'll take the 4.
with a 4/4 angel. Okay. I don't believe this angel has a vigilance.
It does not.
It does not. So then that's tapped. And I still have the birds. I will pass.
Okay. Untap. Keep draw. Play a planes. Eight, 9. I will pay 5 for Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty. Cascade, spells you cast with mana value 6 or greater have Cascade. And we'll get Kellen, Inquisitive Prodigy. I believe that Adventures off of Cascade cast the top side, not the sorcery
Yeah,
side,
yeah.
or the adventure side. Okay. This goes up 1. I draw a card and gain a life.
You know, if you
Is
had
cascading-
tapped, if you had tapped Helga, she would untap.
No, it doesn't untap.
Yeah, whenever you cast a creature spell,
Draw a card, gain a life, put a counter on it. Does not untap.
yeah, add X mana of any one color, where X is Helga's power. Spend this only to cast a creature spell with mana cast or value 4 or greater.
There's nothing
Spell
that
X
says
in their mana
untap.
color. Oh, you know what?
You
There's,
think
there's untapped synergy in
there
the
might?
deck.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Yeah,
but
I played
yeah.
that deck
Yeah,
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I bet it's like an intruder alarm-esque stuff.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Does cascading cast as it doesn't count as casting a spell, right? When you cascade,
It is on cast.
but like the spell you cascade into is that also cast?
Yeah, that is also a cast.
Okay, so then that would also get me when this cascades would get me another counter,
Yeah.
a life, and a card.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's so good. That's so good. I have 3, and that's 6. One, two, three, green, green, white, and then 3 for Vreston, Menoptera Leader.
Oh my gosh, that's a
So
literal
it's
win
gonna
con
come
for
out
that
with
deck.
3 +1 counters, and I get to make green, white, alien insects. What? I'm guessing this is it. Yeah, he scratched out the haste. So I got 3 of those. Does that also get Cascade because I cast it for 6?
Yes.
Oh man, that's so good.
Yeah.
So that's for, I guess that casts first. So then that, I get the life, the draw. God, Bant is insane.
Every day.
Then I will hit the Cascade trigger. Do I get to choose the sides for these?
I believe so.
Okay. Then we will, I guess, incongruity and exile your commander. You can get a 3/3 green frog.
Oh, I can't generate another mana. And the spell itself
Excellent.
doesn't have Convoke. Caught me slipping.
Excellent.
I will still tap it
Yeah.
to add a blue to my mana pool.
Get your red human.
to get another red human.
Cool.
And then they're exiled. 3/3 frog lizard.
Okay. Then I guess I will move to combat. 3/4 flying vigilance. When it attacks, destroy up to 1 target artifact. If I control that permanent, I draw a card. We'll destroy the spring leaf drone.
Okay.
So just the 3/4 flyer. I assume you have blockers.
Yeah, but we'll eat the 3.
Okay. Play a Thornglint Bridge as my land for turn, and I will pass.
End of your turn. We will tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 creatures, or 8 creatures, because
Ooh.
that's tapped, and deal 8 damage to you.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Man, if only my old green-blue Merfolk deck had some red in there. Oh, it'd be so good. Teamer Merfolk would be insane.
Yeah. Like Teamer, like Lorwyn Teamer.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just in plain Lord.
No. Well, I mean, I could do like Ixalan.
Or yeah,
And just
Ixalan.
throw some red stuff in there. I don't know if there's any.
Oh.
The thing is, all the red in that set is like dinosaurs or pirates. So they don't really mesh together well, unfortunately. I think Ixalan would be another set that would be good for beginners to start in because they're very archetypal. It kind of like
Yeah.
it will kind of ease you into the format
Yeah.
because there are obvious things to do in that plane.
And the 100 card, like, this also, like, the 100 card rule, I think, still kind of stops people from solving.
There's
Right.
enough variance.
Right. There's enough variance where it's like I'm not going to be able to.
Yeah.
Like what percentage can I maximize this synergy to happen every
But
single time?
but you still have enough to create a functional gameplay.
Yeah, and then like to have even like a sub theme, you know, and then just like this is what I want to win with. Here's what I want to win with my major theme. Here's how I want to win with like my backup plan or whatever else I'm doing with the deck.
It's like I'm playing Amonkhet. I still, you know, I could whatever the card for X and make you sack or take damage or discard. Like it's still just in there.
We will.
I still approach from the second sun.
The turn.
Okay.
I'm going approach in my Dominaria Plane Lord with Teferi.
Wasn't approach?
Hero of Dominaria.
Wasn't approach in Amonkhet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Teferi at the helm.
Oh, sorry. Hero
Yeah.
of Dominaria. Makes
Hero,
sense.
yeah, Hero
You're
of
right. No,
Dominaria.
but you're right. That makes
Yeah.
sense. All right. Untap. Upkeep. Draw. It's just so much Bant value. What do I do?
So much value, so little time. Oh, Bant problems. Oh, I tapped 5 mana for my commander.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make you just go ahead and spend it. I'm gonna pay 3 to exile this enchantment.
Buddy.
Yeah, go ahead and tap them. Make me take the damage.
How many creatures do you have?
I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I will.
that you have 8.
Oh, 8. I will. Fuck, I need more creatures. than that.
That's budget, man. You're coming up against restrictions. You can only go so far.
Wait, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh.
7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I will pay 2, and I will Unified Will. Counter target spell if you control more creatures than that spell's control. True.
Hold on. Do I have a response to that? Hold on. Hold on.
This is insane. And a token deck.
Is it just counter?
Counter target spell, anything. Not even non-creature.
So you're countering this? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So well then that's just gonna go there. Man.
I'm top decking at this point.
I would pay 4 for Lily Splash Mentor, counter, life, draw.
Man, budget commander, just breathing life into these draft chaffed
I will
bulk cards.
tap Helga for 5 blue. Tap for 1 white with 1 blue left over. And I'll play Sky Hussar. When it comes into play, untap all creatures I control. So I will untap that. Get that.
Okay.
This does not cost more than 6. Draw. Card. Play Command Tower. Tap for 6 green. Use 4 of it for Tempest Heart. Or I guess it's actually 7, my bad. Because of that. So I have 1 blue floating. So I should have 1 green floating. Or 3 green? Yes. Or no, yes, 3 green. And then whenever you cast a spell from mana 5 or greater. So I've got 3 green, 1 blue, and then 2. So that's 6. Pay that. And the floating for Great Oak Guardian. Enters the battlefield, creatures untap. This will get a counter, life, draw. Cascade, because it costs 6. Oh no, that's 7. Lagrella the Magpie. When it enters the battlefield, exile any number of other target creatures controlled by different players until it leaves.
Yeah, it's worded super funny, but you get to choose one creature per player.
Yeah, exile any number of other target creatures controlled by different players. Yeah, it's just one per player is what that means.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's just a 3.
So,
So
exile.
I will... I guess I'll just exile your commander so that you have to...
We'll tap it, get another dude,
Yep.
using it to deal damage to you.
Okay. All right, I will enter combat.
Yeah.
I will swing these insects. They will get a +1 counter. So 3 2/2s.
Okay, hang on.
Yep. 3 2/2s.
Okay.
And a 3/4.
Okay.
I'm going, when it attacks, it's going to destroy that.
Okay.
And I guess these 2 2/2s that fly as well.
How much total?
So 2 4 7 13.
Bet it all on the heart of the cards. I'll take 13.
All right.
Okay.
I think I pass after that.
Okay, end of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll tap them. Deal 10 damage to you.
Okay. You gonna ball out and get like 10 more permanents?
I mean, we'll see. Well, it's the only thing I can do.
Play your commander?
Well, no, I can't.
You ain't got the
I
mana.
ain't got the cash money. What I can do.
Broke boys over here is budget.
Right. If I deal 10 and pass to you, I'm still dead either way.
You will be dead either way.
I think I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And cast Artistic Refusal, and I'll choose to draw 2 cards and then discard a card. Discard Swiftwater Eclipse, and yeah. Any way you slice it when you swing on me,
GG.
yeah, it's GG.
Yep.
Protect the negotiators. Didn't have it.
Yeah, and I was gonna pump everybody by +2/+2.
Oh,
It was about to get in.
Ugly.
Yeah, this is the decks that Josh came up with are a lot better than the deck that I cobbled together out of cards that I had. The 5-color party and vehicles deck.
Party vehicles, man.
But that's a deck where I wanted to tell a story with the cards I had. I had a bunch of jank stuff that I once had tried to make a commander deck, but it just wasn't able to compete. Most of the cards that were in that deck were able to just slot right in.
Yeah. But hey, in Plain Lord, if you want to go...
That would be Zendikar for
Zendikar?
the party.
Zendikar Rising, I think?
It was the last, whatever the last set
one
was. Yeah, had the party mechanic specifically.
Well, you can just do Zendikar in general.
Yeah.
Because Plain Lord allows you to play cards that were released as sets in any set released in the plane of your choice.
And the commander that I was using, Tazri, even works with allies as well. So you get a little bit of that ally synergy from some of the really good cards that were just in that set that were just randomly allies.
But who is your plane lord?
That's the thing. The plane lord
an
of
ally
the
deck.
Zendikar for it would probably be if they weren't soldiers and were instead warriors, it would be an Elspeth. But she always makes soldiers, not warriors. So I would
we don't
think
have a
anybody
commander that makes chain. We don't have a plane.
a planeswalker that would either need to make clerics. I would feel like it should be one that makes clerics, like a black one maybe or a black-white one.
Tevesh makes thralls.
He makes thralls, unfortunately. It would be clerics, wizards. Is there like a blue Kasmina or something that makes wizards? Maybe.
There is a Kasmina that makes wizards, as a matter of fact.
So that might be
She can't
one?
plus.
No.
She comes out and she minuses, but she makes
That's
wizards.
okay. She's your commander, so you get on there. You
Yeah.
just always have a wizard guaranteed
Exactly.
in your commander in your party, or something like that, or even like there's just a couple things, or even I don't know if I think
maybe
one of the Vraskas can make rogues, right? Or are they assassins?
Yes.
They might be assassins.
I think they're assassins.
Yeah.
But what about? Isn't there a who's the cat one? The cat planeswalker?
Lord Windgrace?
No. The white cat.
The white cat? Oh,
Ajani.
Ajani.
I think Ajani makes cat warriors.
He might make cat warriors, so that might be one. But yeah, essentially what you would just be doing is looking for something that can make some value and also like redundance, dummy out like one of your like common
Or at the end of the day,
things.
pick a planeswalker that has removal on it,
Yeah, just something.
or draws you cards, or ramps you.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do what
Vraska's a wonderful plane lord.
Yeah,
In almost any
anything.
set.
I remember we were playing that format that kind of popped off for a minute. Oathkeeper?
Oathbreaker, I think.
Yeah, and I had a green-black Turbo Fog deck with the Vraska that would make it so I think you can't do damage to her or something, but like eventually you just make a token that will just kill somebody.
Yeah, it just kills someone.
Yeah,
They get
and
touched by it.
and it was just like essentially like you can't touch me. I will fog every turn, and this will happen.
Closing thoughts.
Yeah, closing thoughts.
For I think that so I already kind of told you, I'm not really investing in Final Fantasy at all.
No.
I might break down and buy Precon.
I bought a couple singles, and that's about it.
I bought some singles.
I wanted
from
to make.
a player.
I want to make that black-white Estinian removal dragons like police deck because I
Yeah.
just think that's fun.
Yeah, I bought
police stacks.
I got the Xenos,
Yeah.
Galvis, and then the Zodiarch. And I mean, there's some other cards that I want, but I really am going to focus on, like, just kind of showing up as an agent for Plane Lord.
Yeah.
At LGSs and just being like, hey, I got these decks.
You want to try this format?
You kids want to try this new format I got? But
You're looking for flavor kids?
you're looking for some flavor wins, kiddos. But yeah, I think the key to staying in love with Magic is to figure out how you like to play, and then figure out what chains you like, what restrictions you like that breed the creativity that you like to see, and then find a play group, or do what I'm doing and try to make a format that encourages people to like play the type of Magic that you like to see.
So like, it kind of comes down to that idea of like, do the players need to change, or does the game need to change?
Exactly,
The game has already changed at a certain point. It already changed when things started leaning more into Commander. When we left the design for draft philosophy. I mean, it's crazy, in a lot of ways, Richard Garfield was always right. So you should be designing for draft. That's what creates those limitations. Bad cards should be bad. They can be cool, but they can still be bad, and it's important for those to be there because it's also a part of skill expression to realize what cards aren't good or how to make a suboptimal card good with certain synergies.
Exactly.
But when when the game changes to a point where it wants to do that for you in a lot of ways. The fun for people like us who want to do the cool thing. I want to set up the Rube Goldberg machine so that the little ball drops down the track, hits the wheel, a cup falls down, and then it shoots up the plunger down, and then it makes my toast. That's what I want.
Right, yeah.
That's what I want. At the end, I've got toast.
Toast gains me one life.
Yeah, the toast gains me one life, but it was sick to watch that happen.
It was so sick.
It was so sick, and that's the whole point.
You never see people win with toast.
Yeah, no, like we are very much we're Timmys and Johnnies, and that's what we're really looking for. Even if we have competitive experience. My very first card game experience was playing competitive local Pokemon. In the Heart Gold Soul Silver era back in like 07, 08 at Yada Quest.
Yeah,
that's where I started, but. The love for card games, what gets you up out of bed in the morning is knowing that there's some cool shit out there that I can cobble together and make something that not only surprises me but everybody else. And that's why when you were having that problem where you would build a deck, it would do the thing, and you're like, well, it's just meant to do this thing, and it's going to do this thing every time, and it's not exciting because I don't feel like I came about it under my own power. I pressed the button and I watched the machine go without setting it up myself.
And I mean, you don't even need to really go anywhere for that automation.
Yeah. So the game has changed, and now if we want the game to be better, the players have to change by playing the game differently. It's a dialectic relationship. The players have to shape the game in a way that the game will shape itself. That's how we got here.
That's how we got to Commander.
It's how we got here.
And I remember let me see, maybe 15 years ago? 16 years
2010?
ago? Something like that. I remember being at C-State and oh man, what's this format they're playing? We were playing just, casual multiplayer games with 60 card decks, 4-ofs, and I saw people playing EDH at the time. Why didn't we call it Commander, right? You were casting your general.
Yes.
And I remember why would you build like this? I didn't understand how the restrictions made the game good. And now it's the only format I play. And I'll sit down at tables and I'll talk about Plane Lord, and I'll get these looks where it's and one person was like, yeah, that sounds interesting, but I would never build a deck for it. And then the other day I was at Matt's and they were like, oh, it's just, guy kind of screwed his face up at the idea of when
why would you restrict me? I'm trying to pop
the rules
off.
out was it's a thematic, here's this and here are the rules, and it's you screwing their face up at it. And then I had at first it would be offensive, right? Because it's my baby. I've been cultivating this format for years. But then at the same time I was like, you know what? That was me. You know what? In 5 years, this person's only going to be playing Plane Lord.
Why would I only want one copy of a card in my deck? Why is there so many? That's insane. I'm never going to get to do the thing.
Exactly. Why would I only restrict myself to a single plane? I'm not going to be able to synergize with, how am I going to go infinite?
You don't understand. I'm addicted to value.
I'm addicted to value, and I must have it in every color at the highest heights.
Exactly. It's crazy.
All right, man. Well, GG's.
Great
games. Great discussion about
GPs.
TCGs.
Good podcasts.
So if you have any comments about any things we talked about, if you're interested in the Plane Lord format, I will be uploading some games soon. And also a video talking about the 2025 most updated Plane Lord rule set. It's not too much different from the first video. That's up on the channel. Please excuse the terrible audio. I didn't have the setup that I have now. But it's not going to be too much different from that. If you want to kind of see a roundabout way of what it's going to be, then you can check out that first video. Any comments about the format, or if you'd like to play, if you want a link to the Discord, we'd be happy to have, to challenge really any of the viewers to break the format. Show me why it's going to be a broken format, because right now, it's anybody's ball game. You can just hold it. It's anybody's ball game. And I kind of want to see what people can really show me that I'm not seeing in the format. Tell
Really
the story of your plane. Show us why you are the lord of that plane and why you get to walk away with the crown of Ravnica or the crown of Amonkhet, and how no one can take it from you.
At the very least, check out like trying to really build a deck with a low budget. Like the restrictions that you come across will make you realize that some of these cards you never knew before are hilarious. And there's a card in white that I had never seen before called Comeuppance. Yeah, there's a card in white called Comeuppance. Hilarious. It prevents all combat damage to your creatures, makes them indestructible, and like it just deals all that back, and it's so funny.
Yeah,
never seen it before. It's like a 50-cent card.
Yeah, excellent, man. Yeah, the budget format as well. $10 budgets. I'll have links to these 2 decks and some others. I had a budget tournament just last week. We had 8 players, all bringing different flavorful $10 cap budget commander decks. And, I'll have some footage of that uploaded.
Very interactive.
Yeah, we had Codis, we had Frodo, we had a green-white Selesnya Infect deck with a Tristani that can give something double strike.
And Death Touch.
And that was so difficult.
Insane.
To work around. Some life gain, a whole lot of potential in your bulk. It's just you got to put the right chains on to make you see like the value in all of these cards that we're just throwing away, and to replace with cards that do all of the heavy lifting and spare us the creativity.
Yeah, necessity is the mother of invention. When you need something and you can't get it normally, you will figure it out, and that's the cool part of this.
Yeah. All right, sign off.